Hello and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. I'm here with turn 2, playing against the Code Chopper. Now, yeah, let's go and take a look. We can see on the map we got 10,000 manpower less, 10,000 or over 1,000 guns, but we've sent them to theater boxes. Not all of them have arrived yet. 92 tanks less and 177 planes less since last turn. Bunch of trucks in repair, stuff like that. 2 units on low supply, 2 isolated, which is interesting. 2 unready, 1 under strength. Under strength is interesting. For my opponent, getting a lot of men in there, a lot of guns, of course, getting everything from the reserve. Less tanks, less planes is also very interesting because it does mean my opponent lost 1,600 planes during his... okay. 13 times ground bombing. Okay. Huh. Well, I certainly lost some units there. Weird that I'm supposedly losing planes in there, even though I have no planes there. And here too. I'm not really sure how that then works, but... and then there's also a lot of interdiction, but sometimes my air units come out and then he takes atrocious losses. The pocket did hold. Let's see if he tried to... It's a bit hard to see whether he tried to get out even. He did encircle me, but it doesn't seem like he actually tried to get out of that pocket. And indeed, in some cases, there is air combat, and then he takes those losses. Let's actually turn on the interdiction. It's already on. So he did actually seems to have gotten air interdiction in some of these hexes. So that is pretty interesting. Even level 2 interdiction here. I guess that makes it harder to move through those areas. I'm not really sure. I've actually never seen this. It's completely new to me. That's fair enough. Lost some LA2s, but that's not really important. Okay, well, there is that. Okay, wow. Is this also interdiction? Then there's ground combat, or there's air combat. Doesn't show where those guys are from, those planes, but 13 times bomb city. Holy smokes. He's basically grinding his strategic reserve into the ground in order to get these achievements. I wonder how much effect it has. I mean, surely it will have some effect. Yeah, this is not too important here. Okay, wow. Let's yeah, there are no combats besides that, so that's okay. Let's take a look at the theater boxes first. So, basically, all this arrived, that's fine. On the 3rd, we'll get a lot of stuff to I'm also sending quite a few things to Balkans and things like that, so I don't want to be too hasty with putting more units in places like that. And Balkans is technically already fine, so I don't necessarily want to change it. Same for Italy, although they don't have enough naval. I guess that's because they don't have enough patrol. I have recon here. Let's see if I'm already sending air groups to Italy. No, I'm not. So what I would need to do where did I send that patrol? All to the reserves, eh? I would have to get them out of the reserves and then send them to Italy, pretty much. I will most likely not be troubled by it, but it's still worth dealing with it. Slightly too many fighters, but I can't move those. Still sending a lot of stuff to Africa. It will take some time before it gets there. Can't really do a whole lot with that at the moment, although I should actually send fighters there, at least for 3. Guess I did not do that last turn. Do I have fighters in the reserve? No. I have 2 extra there. Let's try to send something small. If I send 2, basically I need 3.5 at least. Maybe I can send some Italy, only 1.5. Alright, well, like I said, I need 3.5. 5.77. I'm not sending any of these to Africa. Okay. $55.77. Maybe I have a very small one here. It's already too much, so already put me below the amount. But this is close to 2. And I might actually be able to send them from Norway, these guys. How much are they? 623. Okay, that's 0.9. Which makes it close to 3.5 already. I should probably be fine there, but I also need more fighters over to Finland. And it's open 39, so I'm clearly not going to make it there because in Finland I need more. Infinite amount of flak, but that's not gonna help me there now. I would have to get some fighters then, and get those. To move to Finland. Because like I said, I don't have enough currently. Yeah, Schrader. I don't even need that many, I think. Just 1.1. Let's send these 40 planes, which I think will already be enough. And I guess I would have to send them to reserve first. But I currently don't have any fighters in reserve, so I guess... How's it moving? It's just all recon and other stuff. Getting into the reserves, but those things cannot move yet. In transfer, there's patrol, level bombers, tactical bombers, level bombers, tactical bombers, so no fighters. Yeah, so let's send one part of SKG 210 over into the reserves. And I will send those next turn then. Over to Finland, and I actually think that should probably be fine already. Okay, given that my opponent is very interested in using bombing and stuff, I do think it prudent to try and get as many of my fighters at least further up north as well. I can't always cover everything. But for example, for Riga, I guess I also want to have priority repairs for the port then. Didn't expect him to bomb it, but if he's going to keep doing that, I do think I want to at least work with that. How is the supplies there? Not good. So he actually did kind of prevent me from getting stuff there, although he also has this port. Another problem that I have is that I actually need to interdict this port here, because this port is basically preventing me from getting stuff further up. It's a bit of a problem because I cannot get these planes to fly at that point either with the way things are going. Now I can actually get over the Ventspils this turn. Let's actually start and try to get at least all the fighters to Riga. And yes, okay. Now that puts them at 70. How's Riga Airbase is okay, I suppose then. Can't guarantee that they will all fly or something like that, but gonna have to try. Okay, besides that, we have Transgroup North, which is currently at Insterburg. And the question then is, can I push them forward? I don't think it's gonna work out having them in Tilsit. So at the very least for this turn they'd need to stay here. I think next turn maybe I can put them to Kaunas and work from there because of the rail, but they will only be fixed at that point. So they'll have to stay there. And as for the recon, I'm a bit afraid they'll also have to stay there. I do have this here. I could technically say I want the transport over to this airbase, and maybe that's better because it's closer. It's also a good depot. Let's send those to Memel. And then Memel is at 90. I can send other units over to Insterburg, because having only 40 planes here is not good enough. So let's bring an air group from the reserve. Or they all arrived, so I can't actually get them from there. Okay, never mind. I will have to do that next turn then. I cannot do that right now. Okay, and those from Allenstein can then also go to Insterburg. Yes. Okay. I want Flieger für Ostsee. To go there now. Let's see if they can. Yes. And it's a bit weird because they're supposedly from there, but I'll put them under Air Fleet 4. And I will need to find air bases either around Kshinev or over here, but I can always move them later during the mission. It doesn't necessarily need to be now, but at the very least they're around here for the moment. And that's good, so they'll be working with that. Right, so for them to have to move all the way there, that's pretty far. But I cannot get them to work here yet. Tricky, tricky, tricky. As usual. Co-Luft North. Well, I'll certainly move them a bit closer there too. I'll leave KG-1 and KG-76 for now. Those are the least important bombers, that is, and they're not really going to be super useful still. Let's see, because isn't there not Co-Luft 16, Co-Luft 18? I guess there's not. A bit weird. First Flieger Corps. These, and these. No. We have Co-Luft North, Co-Luft 4th Panzer, Transgroup North. Gardauen is overfull. It's also not necessarily the position that you want to be in. All right. I'm trying to do this per air fleet, so I'm just going to take a look at each air fleet and do things accordingly. So none. 1 second though. All of this stuff arrived, but that doesn't really impact everything all that much. Except that, yeah, next turn we're going to see a lot of differences in all this stuff here. All the support units, etc. that have been transferred. That's all turn 3. Okay, Air Fleet 1. I do want to try and get ground support. I don't think Yakashreda 54 is going to move out. But alright, I need to remove all these. Clear all outers. Whoops. Okay. This still looks like I'm not going to be able to do it. But I want these guys, and the ground HQ is actually only going to be 4th Panzer Group. Because there's no reason for them to fly for these things. If they're gonna fly at all. Yeah, I think so. This is also already quite far away from the front line, so that's good enough for me. In terms of air recon, I want to go and take a look in this area. This would already be fine. I don't expect my opponent to have too much stuff around there. Let's see, you're not going over anything specifically. But let's not go over this area too much because there's probably AA. Just like that. And I want you to target priority units. And that's it. Then, because I'm gonna move into this area too, I kind of want to see what is around here. Let's do an area of 3. Down this way. I actually want Call of the 4th Panzer Group here. I'm gonna make them fly 4 days. This will be a bit more intensive. Try to see what's up. Okay, that's that. I don't want them to do air superiority, and I also don't want them to do naval patrol. I'll be taking vent spills. If I tell them to go and do naval patrol all the way over here, that's really far, and I actually want them to also support the units. So that's Air Fleet 1. Air Fleet 2. Now, flying to Minsk at this stage it's not useful yet. I'll be fixing up Vilnius next turn, but they can't really fly all the way there. Meaning it's going to be quite troublesome. Where are you guys? There at Wild Warsaw. My point is that for Transgroup Mitte, it doesn't really matter they are here. So what I'm gonna do is the STG-1. Don't really have that many airplanes. I'm gonna get you out of Suwalki. These are fighter bombers trained as bombers. Right, I'm gonna send these into the reserve. And I'm gonna train them as fighters. Because I don't want them as bombers. They're going to be disbanded apparently. Which is rather weird. Either way. Let's cancel that transfer. Because I want those at leak to go to well, let's see if I can send KG2 over here as well. Okay. Because I will also be using those in the bombing of Odessa. Now there's some space here for the rest of the transports, so did it really have to be like that? if they can solve it like that, I guess that would be great. Okay, excellent, because I want those units from the transports to be able to work their way here. I am only gonna do recon there then for these guys. I don't need ground support over here. Well, actually, let's just do that. So, ground support for Jagerschrader 53. And it's going to be just Army Group Center. Again, I want only the fighters and not the bombers here. We'll see how that goes. And I can always turn it off, so that should be okay. And then in terms of recon, I kind of want to first take a look at this. And I want to do another recon over here. No, let's make it into two smaller ones then. One around Mogilev. Come on. This is really freaking annoying. There we go. Need to change the recon priorities here. I really dislike that the hex keeps moving for whatever reason. There we go. Let's change those doctrines. And that's good for all. Okay. There we go. My opponent has cut these two units off here. I want transport group south. I haven't gotten the rail over to Lvov yet, so I don't actually want them to move yet. Again here the problem is that I don't have a whole lot of an ability to fight back. Would move you forward, but I can't. So again for Air Fleet 4, I want them to do whole Army Group South, but only use the fighters, and I can always turn it off in case it is unnecessary. But if my opponent keeps also using the ground attack, there might be a way to get a few planes, and I just want to be sure, basically. In terms of recon, I want to do it in a relatively broad area here. And I want the staging base I want it actually to be like this. And let's change the hex once more. You can already see those, so for these two it doesn't matter. Do that and confirm. Then I also want to do a recon around here. With Koluft not 11. Okay, well, if those are the only ones that can actually do it, that is also fine by me, just like there. My opponent probably couldn't have fiddled around there all that much. So that is that. Let's move these Hungarians forward. To Munax. Simply because we can. And it is apparently fine. Munax is the closest, so I do like actually getting them there. I can probably... Yeah, that's okay. All right. Let's run it. And there we go. He is running sorties, interestingly enough. Most of these are operational, though. Most of the losses, but I'm getting a reasonable amount of losses here. That's not that bad. I want to take a look at as to how many recon planes I do produce each turn, though. Since if my operational losses are around 15 here, I want to make sure I am actually producing at least 15 planes. Otherwise, I have to be more careful in the future. 16 on operational, 20 in total. That's actually quite a bit, so... not too happy about that. Let's take a look. So we are producing in terms of recon. A total of, yeah, we are making more than 20, so that should be okay. So Still missing a lot of fighter bombers or BF-107s. They're making a lot of them. Alright, that is that. Let's take a look. Didn't get that good of a view, but I did get some view here. And he is building some stuff over there. Well, let's just start with Army Group North. So I'll have the 61st Infantry deal with this. And take it down. There we go. Especially at the start, I'm rather looking to minimize my losses. And let's actually take a look. So, no planes here. Fair enough. I'll have these guys deal with this. It's not anything special. There we go. Border guard surrendered. Now alright, well I guess I'm not getting into fence bills for now. Which is unfortunate, but yeah, I definitely cannot get in there. That's fine. Let's start and deal with these. Alright, there we go. So it was a good idea to make sure that my fighters are also in there, because I'm currently indeed still engaging enemy bombers here, as we can see. The enemy air force, in that sense, is actually quite numerous. They still have a lot of planes that they can actually throw at me, and even on the map itself we have 6,000. They have still 6,000. Now their total air losses are already close to 6,000 here, but not even that many tactical bombers, mostly fighter bombers. Well, let's get going. You cannot move very far besides, at least not in here. Interesting, because I'm not even sure. Oh, there is a unit there. Let's take that down. My planes are now not flying. I'm not that surprised, because they wouldn't be doing that well even here. I actually want to see if I can no, I don't want to build a new airbase. Yeah, I cannot supply it. Well, nothing to be done there. Either way, can you go in there? Yes, you can. I guess rather I would do that. Let's see here though. Are you close enough? Yeah, you're quite close. But let's actually make sure that we attack with both for these security units. Yeah. They can also both still attack again, and I would actually like that, to be honest. They are not that powerful by themselves. See. Let's use all of these. This should be okay. Okay, there we are. It's just like I have this 175, and I get that this is like an insane number right now, but from 175, 78, if they get a good roll, it's not super likely, but I'd rather not take the risk, and I'd rather just take less losses there. So ultimately that suits me just fine. And none can go in there naturally, but let's move you here. This security unit will surrender regardless, so I can dispose of that fairly easily. Okay, and since these guys are already here, I might as well do this. I think I can do that. Move you up and do a heavy attack, clearing those out. Now let's just leave them for the moment. These guys can do that. And combine. There we go. Next up, here. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if they retreat, you can prevent it like that either way. No enemy planes here at this point. I can clear those guys out. Again, minimal losses. Very well. Now I have to get the railroad here. Quite curious what this is. I was unable to figure it out before. Let's just keep moving. Again, I need the railroad either way. And moving forward like that is not useful. The unfortunate business of having to get your units back together, in a sense, is always that they're going to adopt the amount of movement points from the unit that is there. So that's a bit unfortunate. And yeah, I kind of have to do this here. Unless you can go in there. No. They can still move up. And this also gets them pretty close to each other, so that is fine. You're from a different unit, eh? Alright, well, they actually did get quite a bit of movement points, and the most important ones are along that rail here. Because I want to move the rail up through there. So this is the last one that it can use. That's actually pretty reasonable for now. And they're going to start working on the rail towards Minsk here. Before I forget, I want to put at least a depot here too, so that I can get that running soon enough. And I actually want to build a depot at Orani as well. And at Kaunas. Okay. There we are. Great, great. Next. You could get all the way in there. Which is fine. I'll just get them together. And move to get to Tukums. And you're at 7 out of 9, eh? So you also have 290th. Eighth Corps. Now, in none of the ways I can actually go through and fix them up, so they're actually better off just moving up and recombining together later on. So let's both move them. And get the HQ over here. And you will get defense bills next turn. And then I'll move that unit down through there. The question with this kind of stuff, like I can technically move this part already up, but then they'd have to wait for those guys, which tends to be a pretty bad deal. I will get the Politsai division also to move up through here. you to move through here. And you all right, let's keep going here too, and they are not even that close. I'm gonna move these guys up, I guess, through Yekapilsk. So it's a bit weird why they do this. I guess going through the road doesn't supposedly help that much. But I don't think it does. Sweet. If they can get into Dagovpilsk, that means that I can move the armor without trouble. And one. Yeah. And that's perfect. You are 8 out of 9. They can still move. I'll be moving them up through this one too. That's just the closest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do this because then they're closer to Dagovpilsk. Moving them up. Yeah, I'll be moving using this road, I think, so they don't need to use their last movement point. Next. Okay, it's not that bad. You have also 8 out of 9. Let's move. Move. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And as for 16th Army, do I need to move it at this point? I do. So let's move 16th Army over to Kaunas. That will also allow the depot to work a bit better once this entire railroad is fixed indeed. And I still have these. Moving in here does not do anything, although my opponent does seem to have a unit here. Which is a bit weird, but we'll see. Okay, well, I can put the first infantry division over here. '21st. Over here. There's no reason to move in there at this point. Alright, let's actually take a look, because if I want to move these guys, I'll move them 1 x apiece so I can actually see what's empty and what isn't. Let's try to get onto the road. And if my opponent does not feel like defending those areas, that is fine by me. That just means there's more territory for me to take. Now at this point, there's the question of whether I want to move into Parnu. I won't be able to get supplies there because of these. But what might be useful is splitting them up. And apparently defender CV is very low. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My airplanes are also back here, so it's good because now indeed that gives him a few losses there again, which I like. It's a shame this unit cannot get into Parnu now. Which does mean I need to put another unit out there. Getting in there doesn't necessarily help me. I'll leave this, and these units will most likely only be able to get to here, so I don't want to get too greedy, although I do already think this is pretty greedy. I mean, I'm happy to have beaten that unit off of Parnu for this turn, and I do want to move quickly through Estonia and then to Narva, at least use a core to try and get in there. Most likely first core. So I'll be moving those up. Through here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's actually great. I can let these guys just rest at Riga. I was a bit afraid otherwise that my opponent might take it. I'll just be working these guys over to that direction. At the same time, these guys can also go and rest there at that point. Let's put you here. And this is 17. I actually think that if I put it in Mamel, it will probably be fine. 15, yeah. That's sweet, because then they can at least indeed operate from Mabel, and I can keep these guys over here. Now the question then is, do I want to move these to get territory? I guess I do. It doesn't really matter how tired they get or something similar, because these guys will disband and go into the theater box either way, so that is actually fine. I'm not too worried about those. I'm gonna do only Army Group North for this episode. I know 9th Army is part of Army Group North, but I'm not gonna do the entire 9th Army. They will get into another corps. So I'll take care of it afterwards. One of the problems for Army Group North is that I actually have different parts of these units in different areas, like for Totenkopf, which are a bit of a problem, and the same applies for the 36th Motorized. They will need to get back into the these units, and these guys are also quite exhausted, so that is also difficult. Either way, let's start moving these through this area, and basically I want them to that's a very slow movement. Seems like my opponent is trying to make some kind of defense at Polotsk. Not quite sure if I really mind it. So moving up and now following the path, I guess, would be reasonable. Yeah, I'm still just gonna move this. Like, it sucks having to do that. At least I still have my planes flying too. Opponent has a lot of planes here, and it wouldn't surprise me if I lost those 2 tanks because of plane activity. Ground combat, 1 by air. Okay, well, seems like my opponent I cannot attack like this, but I can cross the river. At that point, they're pretty much guaranteed to cut my unit off. Or multiple units. Well, let's start moving Totenkopf through here as well. So through the center area. Like that, because then at least there is like a connection here. And that should be pretty reasonable. The next Totenkopf unit yeah, you're certainly doing that. Can go in here. I'm surprised they actually cannot attack like this. I would have expected 6 to be enough for an attack there. But I guess it's not. And let's move the last part over here for the moment. I'll have to reorganize my units a bit, but I guess we'll be fine. For you, I want to take this part and basically move through this area here. So that chops that off. Hopefully that will allow this territory to go to me. I'm not super concerned about the Velikaya area. But let's move, and I'll actually move them in here, because then they take that and I can move here, which is not ideal. But again, I'm looking to potentially convert some of those parts, although I do have the city still here. But I don't think it matters, that's nothing, so I wouldn't think it's a big deal. We'll see how it goes. It will allow the infantry to move quite quickly soon, so that is okay. Army Group North already has the 9th Army. Okay, well. Now I also have these units. Okay, well. It's no big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm gonna do interesting. Is move through there. Of course, these guys have moved way too much now. These units are going to be part of 4th Panzer II to get up to Leningrad. But I would have to reorganize that. I want to get 4th Panzer Group also as full as possible, because the units in 4th Panzer Group will be able to regain their combat prep points faster. There do seem to be some units in there too. So I do wonder about that. I would certainly need to get another motorized corps there, but I'm not quite sure which one that is going to be yet. So we'll have to see. Did he actually break out there with an attack? He did attack. No units lost, eh? That is quite interesting. Well, let's take a look. Machine Gun Battalion and Flag Company. Those construction battalions, I do want to keep them under that. And let's take a look at First Corps. First Corps has no artillery. How about First Corps Flak? 2 Flak. 38th Corps also has 2 Flak. They're overburdened. These guys have only 1 Flak. 42nd Corps. Let's send these to 4th Panzer. Probably going to be more useful there. Let's get these pioneers to Western Europe. We'll see how that goes. I might get those pioneers back onto the map, but for the moment I don't actually need them, so I will do that. Alright, let's continue with, I guess, 9th Army still for a bit. I have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are so weak, they'll probably rout immediately regardless. With some of these units, you really don't have to worry that much about it. Like if their combat points are so low that it's just not gonna make a difference. Not so sure here. Yeah, okay, I did. Good. I'll need to swing these over further to that side. You're going down to 4. He probably has a unit in there. These guys are a bit tougher to crack. This will probably get them to rout either way. Or surrender, that's what I mean. More planes, eh? Attack here. And attack there. None of my planes are flying here, even though they should. Wow. Okay, that was unexpected. Sometimes the game surprises you like that. Well, fine. It's just a tank division. They will also rout immediately from this. Cavalry surrendered, that's fine. So indeed, go now. Go in here. Get you to surrender. That's all the units in here, so the thing is that this is attacking across the river. I would not be too pleased with it. They also kind of claimed that they'd have something there. No, right? No. Okay. Let's just make sure they don't do anything weird, these units. So. There we go. Four to one should be possible. Okay. Good. And that clears the Grodno region. Again, the tricky part here is that want to make sure these units surrender in one go. They probably would have surrendered immediately though. All of these can actually move ahead, so it's one of the few units around here. It's not bad though, but could let them get the swamp access. Getting through the swamp is not too great. I will deal with it once I deal with Army Group Center. For the moment, let's try to get the units to move. As good as possible, and for some it kind of sucks because getting all those different parts together. I guess could be a bit challenging, but I don't want to give up moving forward, so let's also not give up on that. Okay, well, I'm gonna end this part here. I've taken care of Army Group North except for the reorganization, which I still have to do, but I have to do that in conjunction with the center. And that's it. So I want to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.